So right now, the next thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to be sewing all these pieces together. Yes, I will be sewing all these pieces together right at the end. The neck, I'm going to be sewing the neck pieces all together. Yeah, that is super important. So now that I've done this, if you have your this thing, what do I call it? So right now, we are going to be fixing our collar, and I love to fix it by hand. Yeah, you can definitely fix this by machine. Yes, that is very certain. You can do that by machine, but I'm going to be doing it by hand this time around. So let's get started. Okay, so what we are going to be doing is you match this midpoint. You can see that, and then you base that point in place. Yeah. So you can see that I still have my lines. Don't forget, I still have my chalk mark here. So that is why I'm going to be tracing, making sure this is falling on my chalk mark area. So after doing this, which is the midpoint, the next place to work with, I'm going to have to cut this first. The next place to work with is the roll line. You can see, because this roll line has to match. So I'm going to have to like baste this roll line also in place. It must match, because that could cause a little bit of issue. Yeah. So you want to make sure you have this also in place, and then after you've done that, then you can then proceed to baste. Run ahead like this. Yeah. So you can see me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So one side is almost over now. You can see that we've almost done one side, and then we'll move right to the other side and continue. But before we continue to the other side, don't forget we have to match this roll line. You can see this is our roll line for this other side. We've got to match that also. That is important, that you match the roll line. And even I would advise that you you baste that in place first. Two, you baste that two in place. That is important. Okay. I'm gonna have to do it one more time. Okay, now that I've basted these points in place, we should do a little bit of cross check. Yeah, I think this works fine. So we may then proceed. Right from this point also to the center back. But make sure your chalk mark, make sure this thing is matching your chalk mark. You're placing it on your chalk mark. If it's not clearer enough, you can remark it. You can see this is my own chalk mark. So I still have it and I'm following it strictly. Okay. Now we've done this also, but it remains just this little part. I forgot to test this place also to see if it's going to be cool. Yeah, I forgot to test it, but yes, it is still very cool. So what are we going to do now is complete this point. Yeah, maybe it's a bit rough, but it still doesn't matter. It's still going to be cool at the end of the day, and that is what matters. So, and then once we complete this, you complete the other side here too. So now we've basted this in place, and then the next thing we need to do is we need to baste the front part as well in place. You can see that we just do something like this, and then we have something like this. So we'll fold around and baste, but before we do that, we need to baste this edge so that we don't end up having problem with it, because if we don't have this edge basted, we may be having issues with it. So I'm just going to have to baste these edges first before we proceed on anything. Yeah, color takes a little bit of time, especially when you're making it by hand, but I must say it's a very it's going to be very, very cool once you finish it. So we've basted this in place, and then another thing is we are still going to be having another row of basting. That is very, very important. We are not only going to be basting the edges alone, we're also going to be basting this roll line area. Yeah, this row line area, this inner area, we are still going to be basting that in place. And the major objective of that is so that you don't have a collar that that looks bent. You can know, you can see maybe something like this after you're doing. You want a collar that lays very flat on your neck after you are done finishing it. So after you're done with it, so we are still going to be giving it another row of basting right here to reinforce the first one. So I'm going to be giving it the second row of basting now. Yeah, that is very important. Oh, sorry. Make sure you're not pulling the thread too much when you are doing it. It's not cool. It's not a cool idea to pull the thread too much. Okay. This is also almost done now. So this will guarantee a very straight collar after all. You can see this. So we are going to be flipping it right to the wrong side like this. You see what I did? And then we'll be doing this, folding it and then pasting it right in place again. So that was just a test. I want to see how it's going to look like, but I realized something is going to be disturbing us right here, which we need to remove. This excess right here has to leave. So I'm going to be cutting away this excess that we have right here. You can see that excess is not really very much here, but it's much right here. So once we cut that excess away, first let's base this place. Let's base this in place first. You see that you fold this point like this and then paste. You fold it like this and then you baste it right in place here. A lot of don't mind me, there's a lot of basting, but I love it. When it comes to making my collar, I want to make, in fact, I make almost everything by hand, but I just decided this time around to add a little bit of machine. And you can see that machine is just basically for the for the pad stitching. So, and maybe some other few things. But it's cool. Making it by hand is actually very cool. It's a very, very cool thing to do. If you know it, because you always get a very cool result. But it may be a little time consuming, trust me. And for someone who is actually in a hurry to get it done, you may not really like it too much. So I've basted this one in place right now. I'm going to have to cut this off and baste the other side also. So I'm going to be basting this side also in place. Yeah, it seems this thing wants to be showing from here. It doesn't matter. We're still going to be removing it after all. So you don't need to worry too much about that. We're going to be removing it. Just baste the other side like this also. So we're getting there. It's a gradual process, actually. A gradual process. Okay. Now that we've basted this place, this one also in place, you can see what it looks like already, and right from here also what it looks like. So now we turn it to the wrong side and complete our basting. You can see what I'm talking about right here before. If we don't baste this in place, you may be having too much difficulties, but all these wrinkles is still going to leave anyways. So next thing to do is fold this also and baste. So I'm going to be starting from this area. So I'm going to be folding from here. I'm going to be basting it right here. Oh, this is it. You have to be careful to make sure you're getting rid of the wrinkles. So yeah, let's fold it like this and continue from here. So right now I have my this thing in place. So I'll just take this to the iron and press it so well. Okay, well, before we take it to the iron, let's take it to the mannequin and see how it fits on the mannequin. Aha. So right now you can see what it's looking like, and this time around I'm yet to press it even. So after pressing it, I'm sure, so we're going to be folding this inward like this, and we have this like this, and then fold the other one inward, and we have something like this. So let's get on to the iron and press it. So welcome back. What we are doing once again now is we will be working on sewing the collar, the under collar. So we are going to be using this kind of what do we call it, stitch. So I'm using a different thread so that you can see it clearly. So you just start, you can see where I started from, and then after that you place your thread like this. I don't know if you're seeing this clearly. And after doing that, then you place it right here again, and then right here as well. Make sure not to pull too tight. Do not pull too tight. So you place it right here again, and then you place it right here again, like this. Don't worry about this basting threads for now. We are going to remove them later. So you just do it like that. The fabric side, the canvas, the fabric, the canvas, and on and on and on like that. You can see this. So this is how we are going to do this till we get to the other side. So you can see now I've gotten this to almost finishing. So this is just the same thing. I'm sure you can see what it's looking like. I had to use another thread for this so that you will see it clearly. So that's just it for the what do I call it, for the stitching of the under collar. You can use other ways to stitch this, but I find this very fast and neat, and yeah, fast and neat. At least compared to some stuff, it is a bit faster. So you can see that I'm just going to finish that now and then remove all these stuffs, all those basting stuff I had there already. So I'll finish that now and then we'll move on to the next thing. So after we've done this, before we remove all these stuffs, we need to work on this. You can see. So what you just do is you take your iron and then press this place. Let me add a little bit of water, and then you press this as well. So once I press it that way, the next thing I do is just flip it over like this. You can see what I did, and then press. So once you flip it to the other side, you can see that. So now that I've flipped it, you see that. So let's take a pin, or probably let's base that down in place too. So we based it down in place. Okay, now that I have this down in place, You can see that. So you repeat the same thing for the other side. So after we basted this in place, the next thing we do is we stitch this place. This is also going to be stitched by hand. So, and as it is, you put your your needle inside. You can see inside this place, and then let it come out. So this time around, you should be using a matching thread. Yes, because this stitch is not meant to show at all. It is not supposed to show at all. So you can see I've pulled it right into that place. And then the next thing is right at the same point, you place it on the fabric and then go out, move forward. I don't know if you are seeing this actually. This could be a little bit tricky if you are not seeing it. So just pull it inside like this and then take it out again, taking only a very little piece. You can see, take only a very little from here, and then you pull. Also make sure not to pull too tight, you see, and where this started, you put it, you put in the needle again and then take it out. You can see you pull but not too tight. You put it in again and taking only a very little on the collar side. And then you pull a little. Do not pull too tight. Down, and if this is not showing clearly, if you're not seeing this clearly, maybe I'll try this on another piece of fabric with a contrasting thread. So once you stitch like this, your stitching would not show. It will look like you stitched this with machine. Actually, that is the importance of this kind of stitches. I don't know if you are seeing this, and I'm not going to compress this also so that you can see it clearly. You pull it in through the side and take it out. While taking it out, let it just take a little bit of the collar, a very tiny bit, maybe like a couple of threads. So this is the same thing, you continue. Yeah, this may be a bit time consuming, but trust me, it's always worth it. I'm always happy doing it because the result is always cool. Now already you can see this, so you can see now. So when I go ahead and press this open, I won't be having any form of issue. So let's continue. You can see this is just more like I sew it like I sew it with a thread. So let's I've gotten it to this other side. Yeah, so when I get here, what I'm going to do is flip it over to the wrong side, as you can see, like this, and continue right to the wrong side, the same exact thing I've been doing. I continue it. sure you can see that. So all these edges, and when you get to this rough edge, let's do a little bit of trimming. So I'm going to be trimming this edge a little, then after which I'll repeat this exact type of stitch. So that is what that area is going to take. It's going to take that stitch. Let me take this out of the way. So what I'm going to do is place it on this. I'm sure you remember how we did that stitch, the first stitch. So we are still going to be doing the same thing. Don't worry, this time around it's still going to be cool. So all those stuff's getting in my way, I have to like get rid of them. Yeah. And once we get here, you can see that once we get back to the edge, you repeat the same stitches you have here to finish it off. So right now, so now that I've done this, yeah, so it is time now to remove all these basting stitches we have there. So we can now remove all those stitches, and which is what we are going to be doing now. So you can remove all your stitches that you used to baste it in place. Yeah, it has finished its work. So do I need to show you how I remove that? I'm not sure there's anything about that. So let's just skip the process to save data. So now you can see I am yet to press this actually, but you can see what it's forming, what it's looking like. You can see the shape is now looking cool, nice. So you would hardly be able to tell the difference between I mean, I'm talking about this place. You will hardly be able to tell if I sew it by hand or by machine. And then let's go to the back. Okay. So for the back, you can see this. I'm yet to sew this. You can see what it's looking like from the back. Yeah, that's it. So it's just as that. So somebody greet me welcome. I am welcome. So I'm just going to have to take this to the iron now. Press this flat, so flat, and then once I do that, the collar is almost ready. Boom. It's ready, not almost.